If you live stream or use Zoom and still using the built-in camera on your laptop or desktop computer, you're probably getting a picture like this. That's why I have a 4K camera from our sponsor today, NexiGo. Not only is it going to give you a better picture, but it's also going to give you better sound quality as well. I'm Tech Steve. Sit back and relax and let me tell you all about it. This is the NexiGo N970 that uses the Sony 8.5 megapixel CMOS sensor that features resolutions up to 3840 by 21 at 30 frames per second. There's even an indicator on the front of the webcam to let you know whenever the camera is in use. This webcam also has a feature called AI auto framing with face detection. And the great thing about that is if you have a lot of people in the room, it makes sure that everyone stays in focus to get the best image quality. On the front of it, you're going to find two omnidirectional microphones with noise cancellation technology to remove background noises. The webcam can sit on a table like this, and if you notice on the bottom, there are some holes so you can screw it onto a tripod. Addition to that, you can even adjust it to work on the back of a monitor like you see right here. And here's what comes in the box. You get a USB cable, you get a user's manual, you get a remote control, and you get the NexiGo 4K webcam. Now, one thing about the NexiGo camera is that it uses a larger sensor, and as you can see, how much bigger it is compared to a traditional webcam. And that's going to allow more light and more details to come in while you're doing your conference calls or live streaming. And there's also a connection on the back of it that you can update your USB cable, unlike some webcams on the market. Now I'm showing you guys an example of what the NexiGo 4K camera looks like, and this remote control allows you to zoom. So as you can see, you can move it in or out to get all this space on your camera while you're recording or on a conference call. Before I show you guys the NexiGo camera, I want to show you the one built into the computer that I edit with. It's a pretty powerful computer, but you can see the 1080p camera looks very flat. There's not much contrast or much details in the colors. Now I switched over to the NexiGo camera, and you can see it looks much better than the camera before, plus the audio sounds better as well. Now there's a few controls that you can do with this camera, so let me show you guys the on-screen adjustments that you can do to get the best picture quality out of this NexiGo 4K camera. Here's a desktop software that comes with the NexiGo for the Mac, and if you hit preview, it turns on the camera and you have this screen right here. Now at the bottom here, you can change the resolution, and you can go from 640 to 480 all the way up to the full 4K resolution. Now if I go ahead and press on this, I'll just bump up to like the 1080p. And that's what it looks like. Now on the side here, you have different controls like the white balance. It does it automatically just by pressing that button. You also can make the screen brighter. You can control the contrast on it, so you can have these cool looks to it. You have the hue and you have saturation. Now you can change it also over here if you're getting some type of flickers or if you're using it in a different country. So over here, if you go to advanced, you can change the gain of it. You also can zoom in and out, which is pretty cool. Just right here from the desktop. And you can hit default and it goes back to the way it was. Another thing I want to point out here is this save function. So let's say if I go in here and create something called test and I save it. Under this drop down, you can have different color profiles that you set up. And the great thing is that this camera has built-in memory. So if you take the camera to another room, your presets will be installed. All you need to do is just make sure you have the desktop software installed. So it's a pretty cool feature, and it has a lot of great adjustments that you can do to get the best picture out of it. Here's a remote control that comes with the NexiGo, and I will tell you most of the functions are not going to be able to work, but you can program the camera selection at the top. You have a number pad for certain cameras that you can program it to. You have a zoom option, which I showed you guys earlier. And at the bottom here, you have a menu, which I'll show you guys in just a minute. Now I will tell you that this remote control does not come with batteries, and it uses two AAA batteries. And on the remote control, you have this menu button. If you press on it, you get this on-screen display, and you have your settings. You can go into your auto framing as well as default settings. You have your exposure, color, you have your image, and inside the image, you can even flip the screen or put it in black and white mode. You have noise reduction. It shows you which version that you're using. And at the bottom, you can restore all the default settings that are available on this camera. And once again, here's the specs on the NexiGo webcam. First of all, it can do 4K resolution at 30 frames per second. It even supports 1080p at 30 frames per second. It has that 8.5 megapixel Sony sensor, as well as 10 times digital zoom at 4K resolution. And if you're worried about low light, they have you covered because this is what it looks like just using the lighting coming off my monitor. So you can see it still looks pretty good. As you can see, this 4K webcam is definitely going to improve your image quality whenever you're doing any type of streaming. You can use it on Twitch, YouTube streaming, Facebook, as well as Microsoft Teams and Zoom. Now I want to give a special thanks to NexiGo for sponsoring this video and sending me over the product. And if you're interested in learning more, I'll leave all those links in the description below. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace!